Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Thank you for the like. Hi, Jarrell, how you doing? I've just uploaded a new video, so I might start focusing more on long form content again. Try and kind of get more of that out because I think that's how you're gonna grow your channel in the long run, really. I mean, when you put these shorts out and stuff, people just don't really seem to connect. It's just kind of people just who are looking for short little, kind of bits of content, and they're really fleety people, a lot of them. Whereas I want to try and build something kind of like a community. I mean, you could say that we've built something here on the live streams, but I mean, I don't know, something more substantial, I guess. It's just, I do get the odd people who, I see them coming in regularly, and that's great. But I mean, I want to try and establish something, and making actual content's going to be the way to go with that, I think. Hello, Heaven. How you doing tonight? So so I just thought, let's get a video out. Let's get something out. So I've not put any long form content out for over a month on my channel, which, so it's been a long while really, but okay, what's that, Heaven? But it's just coming on live has been a bit sort of, I mean, I'll do it sometimes. It gets draining. Like, it just drains my energy if I do it too much, and I can't always, give my everything into it. It can feel a bit like you're kind of having to perform, you're having to be kind of, sometimes I just don't feel comfortable because you're going to have people judging you all the time, and, it's one of those things, isn't it? You just have to kind of, you know what I mean? So maybe it's a sign I was like kind of coming on too much on the live streams and not focusing enough on long form content, like doing videos. I think maybe I should do more videos, really, as a way to actually have more, kind of to basically build my channel and kind of connect with genuine people and stuff. No, I'm not into sports, really. I'm into fitness, but I don't do any sports personally. Thank you for the like, whoever that was, anyway. Anyway, welcome in if you're new here. Hit that subscribe button. That would be really appreciated. But I'm not really into sports. I mean, I'm into fitness. I do my own fitness. I'm just not into watching other people play sports. That's just personally not into competitive sports. Okay, thank you. It's gone midnight now, so hello EA7000. Hello Julia, how you doing? I am a person of rich man, no friends, no social life. What's the purpose of life? Well, you gotta build your own purpose, I would say. Hello Tenrag. Oh really? Huh. I'm single, yeah, why? Why are you asking? Well, it's technically Valentine's Day. Hello Fastbook, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Technically it's Valentine's Day now, isn't it? But I've not been on all day, really, but been doing other things, really. I don't know, like, Alex Terrible, yeah. Alright. I've I've not really been in a proper relationship for a long time. What do you mean, Julia? How is dig? What does that mean? Okay. Hope you've had a good day today anyway. But I just kind of started feeling a bit burnt out and just kind of coming on here, I'm thinking, like, why do I just keep coming on all the time? You can get to those points in time where you need to kind of just take a step back, figure out like what do you really want to do and why do you want to do it, sort of thing. Yeah. Hello GPS 16 K3T. What's that rat fan? What's going on in here? Hello Rise Liz Raju. Oh yeah, David Goggins. I feel like the message is a bit far in my opinion. I think that I agree with some of the things he says. It's just I feel like it promotes, it's like the toxic hustle culture thing. I think you can go too far with it. It's like the whole Andrew Tate thing. It's like it's just going too far. It's this whole idea, pain. What is it? Pain is weakness leaving the body. I mean, up to a certain point, I could agree, but like when you're just constantly in pain, what kind of life is that? Hello, Dimitri. How you doing? Hope you well. Okay, I'll have to get rid of that. What you saying, Luke? Okay. Hi, Edmund. How you doing? I hope you're well tonight. Welcome in here. Hope you've all had a good day today. Share this out if you can. Subscribe if you're new. Alright. Oh, really? I don't know. Okay. Oh, just go away, If you're just gonna be like that, then just go away. Why keep coming back then? Hello, Retro. Yeah, it's not good, but thing is, you've just got to try and, the thing is, right, is if you follow the path that everyone else is doing, you're just going to end up like everybody else. So you have to carve your own niche, is what I'm saying. Hello, Blahaj from Ireland. How you doing? What are you saying, Luke? Hello, Stuart. We are trying to buy in the wrong areas. What do you mean? Oh, Giannabelle. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to buy a house in an expensive area, then it's not a good idea, probably. There's cheap areas that you can buy houses. It just depends on where your work's located, though. Yeah, some houses are still relatively cheap, but I would say that if you're just earning fuck all money, then it's like you have to find your value, because this is the thing of like not letting yourself be undercut and not be subject to some kind of corporate bosses who will just pay you the bare minimum. To carve your own niche, to find what you're really here for, find your purpose. Everyone's got their own purpose, but you ultimately are the one that decides, okay, is this what is this a fair value for my time? I'm not really debating much at the moment. Well, that is true, Stuart. It's just some places are, can be a bit rough, and some might need work doing to them. But yeah, you're right. You are right. It's just, do you really want to move there? Some people might have to move away from family and stuff, and they might have certain commitments. So I don't know if it's it's possible for everybody. Everybody's different. Should Keir Starmer resign? I mean, yeah, but they won't though. Hello, known Gemma. Okay, this is the audience. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there is places where you can get cheap houses. That is true. WFH means more location independence. You're on about when it comes to like, I mean, you could say like, if you're gonna work from home, then yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah, it's like try and find something that you can do from home. That means that you don't have to live in an expensive area. Because like you get like people who live in London and they're paying a fucking fortune, you know. Although Andrew loves YouTube. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. If you want to send a donation, I would really appreciate that. Love your show. Okay, thank you, EA. So yeah, look, doing an online business or something, but yeah, people aren't shopping within their budget. Houses aren't too dear in that case. Your budget is insufficient. Yeah, well, I do think that wages are kind of shit these days, to be honest, though. What do you want to say that? But, it just is what it is. But a lot of people end up, they're buying a car so that they can get to work, and sometimes their car is already, taking probably 10-20% out of their budget for the whole thing. That's not including food. That's not including, all the shopping stuff, all the groceries they have to get, all the bills they have to pay for, the housing, everything. That's once they've done all that, so most people end up with only maybe 10-20% maybe at the most, if they're lucky. So, oh, you're in Buddhism. Oh yeah. Yeah. So what? Yeah, tell us about that then, about Buddhism. Yeah. I like to learn about different philosophies and stuff. So people can share their experiences with things. But yeah, starting your own business is probably the way to go. Find something that you have an actual passion for, because you're gonna probably find it's a lot easier to stick to if you actually have a passion for it, even if it earns you less money. You know what I mean? Some people, they just kind of find something that, let's just do blah 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 because it's trending, but then they burn themselves out because it's not their true calling. Yeah. I mean, I was talking about house sharing and things like that, but it might not be for everybody though. But they say beggars can't be choosers, that kind of thing. But it's just not possible for everybody, I don't think. It's not suitable for everybody's needs. Like I said, some people can't necessarily move from where they live. Let's say if someone lives in London or something, if they've got certain commitments there, if they've got family or whatever, friends, they can't just necessarily move from there because it would just be inconvenient. Hello, James. What are you saying? It's just what you could do, I suppose, but it's just that could be many years off, though. Okay, done. But you have to just try and find something that pays you what you're actually worth. I mean, someone was saying, so I don't know how true this is, but you generate a company 4 times the value they pay you. So I don't know how true that is. I mean, but you're generating a company far more money than they're paying you. Yeah, it's all about saving, but I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not gonna say it's easy. I mean, but where there's a will, there's a way, I would say. There is actually ways to be very frugal with your money and stuff. Even when it comes to food, and you can look at, kind of buying discounted stuff. You could use apps like Too Good To Go or something and get fucking, cheap food. Like say if you buy a lot of stuff from bakeries, instead of buying it from the baker a full price, you could just get a mystery bag of stuff, and it's going to be in some cases a fraction of the cost. So there are things like that out there that can cut your costs down if you're wanting to save more money. Yeah. Oh yeah, eBay. Yeah. But yeah, house sharing, it can be it's like staying with your parents is seen as being a loser. That's what society will tell you. or if you're a loser if you stay with your parents in your 20s, 30s, whatever. But you know, but they're probably doing better financially. They've got less stresses in life. They've got less bills to worry about, you know. Whereas when you're living on your own, you've got all these worries. You know what I mean? That's the thing, you know. You have all these stresses in life when you're living on your own. But some say that, oh, you're supposed to go on your own because it teaches you responsibility and all that. But I just think that staying with your parents is good in terms of like shared resources. You know what I mean? Hello, Lions. Good to see you. How you doing? Not seen you for a bit. I saw you went live earlier, but I missed it. Getting friendly with door staff so you don't have to pay admissions fees to clubs. Well, that's a good one, yeah, because as they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. yeah, I'm 6'4" roughly. Yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's like you have to kind of try, yeah, like you said, getting friendly with people, because like mates rates, they call it, you know, like sort of, yeah, that's what you got to do, really. Mates rates. Because, yeah, so it can be a good thing to try and network with people. So that's why it can actually be good to. Some people believe that, oh, socializing is a waste of time because it's not going to make you money. But in some cases, it's a good way to network with people, because when you become friendly with people and you get a reputation, then they can get you access to certain things, certain opportunities come your way. Okay, no worries, Lions. Yeah, it was a good chat. Yeah, I enjoyed it. When are you on next? Yeah, hang around after and kebab shots for free socials and free food. Yeah, I mean, there's really like some frugal people out there, like fucking the dumpster diving. Like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. Like there's people out there that will just dumpster dive, or use apps like Olio where you can just get free food. Now, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but you might find something on there that you're willing to eat or something, and just you might as well if it's free. There's even like people who just give out food for free in like certain venues and stuff. If you're wanting to just, if you're on a low income and you just want to save a bit of money, then yeah, it might be possible to do that. But yeah, hope you're all well. Monday, okay. Well, yeah, I'll see you then. It was interesting talking about a lot of different topics and stuff. Free chips, yeah. Sit beside people and chat. When their taxi comes, they leave their food behind. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, distract them so that they don't have time to eat any of it. Yeah. So it's like you distract them so they're not really. You're like, oh, do you pretend you're just gonna be like some parasite basically. You're just gonna like distract them. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, this could be one of those advantages where being attractive would be good, because then they're just gonna be like distracted with you, and it's like a thirst trap kind of thing. It's like it could be like some like attractive woman, like say for example, and she'll just sit next to some guy, and she's like, she's got her frigging cleavage out, whatever, and she's all getting all like with him, and he's eating food, but then he's getting distracted, so he's not really eating much. But then eventually, like, yeah, he has to go, and then she just has the food or something, No, just chat for fun that they still eat, but generally enough left behind for you. Yeah, true. I was just talking about some hypothetical scenario. Kind of reminds me, there was this thing of like where this woman on Dick Emery show, and the female, this female who thought she would have been able to pass the test by showing her, you know, her package, if you will. Oh goodness! And then turns out it was a gay guy who was the instructor. It's quite funny. It's easier when you are young to pull this off. Yeah, definitely. A lot of things get harder as you get older. Hello, Millionaire Trust. I'm 30 years old. Yeah, I'm 30 years old. Fastbook72, how are you doing? Hello, Simon. Okay, who's that? Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Hello, Morty James. Good to see you. How are you doing? Yeah, check out my latest video when you get a chance. I've just put out a new long form video, so I don't know if any of you ever bother checking out my long form stuff, but there was once a man called Robbie who needed to find a new hobby. So he pulled down his jeans and oh god. That is awful. Anyway. Hope everyone's well tonight. Hello, Disco. Okay, well, hello, Sad Akon. No. The hell's going on? Trolls in here again tonight. Hello, Terence. How's it going? Hope you're well. What are you saying? Oh, goodness. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share the live if you can. That would be really appreciated. Yeah. But yeah, there's always ways of, sort of like making it so the way you can be able to save more money. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's like, a lot of it's not about making more money, but rather about being able to save more. Because when you focused on, well, you think that money has no value, basically, because you think, oh, well, I need money for this, I need money for that. Well, what if you don't? What if you can find a way to get these things without money or without as much money? Like I said, with food, you know? Like if you learn to cook your own food, even if it's just basic skills, then you can save yourself a lot of money. Like there's people going out for takeouts and stuff and they're spending £5-10 just for like a pizza and a drink or something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you could even just make your own for like a fraction of that. It's an absolute joke. I mean, they're not even making their own from scratch, you know? You go to a friggin' takeaway, it's like, how much does it cost for a pizza in there? All they do is they just get one out of the freezer, put it in the friggin' oven, like put some sauce on it, whatever, and that's like £5 or so down the drain. Maybe you get a drink and that's like another quid. You could just get like, you know, like your own for like probably a quid or something, for like a fraction of what it would cost. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, takeaways are going to be like probably a bit of a rip-off. But I don't think people should probably be eating that shit anyway, for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, people can be spending like £10 on an all-English breakfast when it probably cost maybe a quid, £2 to make it. I don't know, but you could argue about the labour of making it, but is it really that hard to make? I mean, it's like going to Starbucks for like a coffee that costs a fortune. But if you brew your own, then it's like, saves you loads of money. I mean, you could just brew your own, just have it like as a, you know, just put it in a flask and then just take it with you, you know, just have it on the go. Like, why do you need to go and spend a bunch of money? And they'd be like, oh, I'm broke. But it's like, it's just because you have like poor people habits, you know? Like, if you want to become rich, you have to start living like a rich person. You have to kind of, you have to live in that end state of like, okay, I'm rich. I'm going to live like a rich person would live. Look at the habits of rich people. They see the value in holding on to their money instead of just throwing it on a bunch of BS that they don't need. Well, there's no point in, spending money on things that you could just do it yourself for a fraction of the price. Okay, I just, they're just trying to all these naysayers and stuff. Hello, Hazy. How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. Yeah, exactly. All these staples, right? But potatoes are cheap. I eat pasta a lot. It's dirt cheap. It's like oats. I eat a lot of oats. They're friggin' cheap, Depends what you put with it, but, my food is simple. So oftentimes the simple stuff is cheap. Mate, sleepy, thanks. What was your name? I'll use meat and 2 veg. That's like some innuendo thing, isn't it? Hello, Baroon Whisper. Hope you're well. But I don't know, it's just, I get, people say, oh, you should just treat yourself. But I'm like, but to me, treating yourself is about delaying gratification. That is the real treating yourself. It's not caving into instant gratification. It's understanding that you'll get a better reward for holding off on things. You know what I mean? Okay, Santiago. I lived on £1.15 a day once. Pasta, milk, eggs, and bacon as a treat. Yeah. So how do you live on £1.15 a day? That's not very much, is it? I guess it depends on how much you would need to eat. I eat a lot of calories. I probably eat almost twice as much as a lot of people. I'm quite active and I have, obviously some muscles and stuff. I have to try and nourish that. So it's going to be costing more for me, but like I said, there are ways to get access to free or cheap food. I made a video about this a while ago, actually, about a few different ways that some people even grow their own food, which can be a bit of tricky to get started. But then once you got started with that, it's kind of like a passive income of like, you put the work in up front and then it pays dividends in the long run. Kind of like, say, you make a YouTube video, you put the work in, and then once you put it out, that if it's an evergreen video, then it can still be getting views weeks, months, or even years after it's been uploaded. I've seen times where a video will be recommended to me that was like 10 years old. You just never know. You never know, in 10 years one of your videos could just pop off and get millions of views. So you just have to keep putting stuff out to increase the likelihood that something's going to pop off, right? Eventually something should pop off if you just keep at it. You know what I mean? Hello, Tom Brown. How you doing? I hope you're well. Yeah, that's the thing. It's, growing your own veg. It's, that's good to be more self-sufficient. And it's, where it's come from then as well. If you grow it yourself, then you know that it's healthy. It's not got a bunch of pesticides, herbicides, and that kind of nonsense. Yeah, Asian shops sell a whole bunch of like cheap stuff in bulk. You could get like a 5 kilo of, say, lentils for like a few quid, and that's gonna last you for months, just for a few quid of lentils. It's like, a few other things like split peas or whatever. these things would just last you for months. So you could just buy a few different bulk ingredients in, some spices and stuff. All this stuff's gonna probably last you months. Once you bought it all in, you could just do like a £100 shop or something that would probably like last you for like over a month. And in a lot of cases. What you mean? BBE, I don't know what BBE is, but I don't know. BBE. I don't know. Best before end. Oh yeah. Right. In about like food that's about to go to waste. So you want to probably look at like whatever's nearly going off. It's like maybe there's stuff that, especially, yeah, if you look, there's like a section where you can find stuff that's about to get thrown out. So I think every shop or most shops have that section where another one would be like, if they are about to throw stuff out, you know, what going in like at the end of the day or something in some cases, but they're just about to throw things out and they'll just sell it at very low prices. A whole shop filled with yellow label. Oh yeah, that'd be like the dream, wouldn't it? Yeah. I got some like bread with yellow label and it's fine. But they'll say best before, but I feel like a lot of those dates are quite conservative, and oftentimes I find, in my opinion, that it's not any different even if it goes past that date. Unless it's getting moldy or some shit like that, then... Hello, Alpha Kenny. How you doing? Could be a year past BBE. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you probably wouldn't really know anyway with some of these things, especially like non-perishables, whatever they call it. Like if it's split peas, let's say, then yeah. No, I'm from the UK. Where are you from, Haley? Hope you're well tonight anyway. But I suppose happy Valentine's Day, I guess, because it's technically Valentine's Day. For where I am anyway. I don't know what that is, Alpha. That much chemicals in sauces makes no difference. Well, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? It's yeah, that's the thing. A lot of it's pretty bland anyway. You know what I mean? You don't really notice any difference anyway. It's like getting it from like Lidl or Aldi or whatever, or Home Bargains or whatever shops that they do like the really cheap shit, you know? B&M's, you know, that cheap shit, you know, and it's like, well, it's probably all going to taste pretty similar, especially things like pasta and rice and stuff like that, you know? There's shops here that sells only BBE food stuff. What shop's that then? I'd have to probably find some stuff like that. But there's things like food pantries and stuff where you can get either free foods, or they'll do things like where you'll get like where you can help yourself for like a certain amount of money. Like you can fill up an entire basket for like a couple of quid or £3 or whatever. A little more, so it ends up working out way cheaper, but yeah. But there's always ways to like be more efficient with things, and then you can sort of invest in money then, can't you? You can, whatever you save, you could put it into like a regular savings account, about 7% yields or whatever you get, and over time that can then pay for your deposit or something, and you can, you know, what, all that money that you've accumulated in those, and it just yeah. Hello, Catherine. What are you saying? Stop right there. But I was suggesting, you know, if people could like somehow buy some land maybe and just split it, you know, if say you had a piece of land that's 100k and a few people got it, then they could just get some cheap, you know, caravans or something. You can get them for like second hand for like next to nothing. In fact, some of them are actually completely free. Some of them are going to be rough, but you have to just kind of look into it for yourself, really. But What do you mean? What's the theme? What are you talking about? Too good to go. Yeah, I was talking about that Grim. I've never used it myself because I don't like the idea that it's a random kind of. It's all random, apparently. I don't know, but yeah. Apparently there was another one called Karma, where apparently there's not as much stuff on it, but it's another like food waste app or something. Yeah, so it's a mobile app or something, and it's discounted stuff. But if I remember, you can see exactly what's available. Whereas with Too Good to Go, you're just getting a random bag of shit. So that's the thing with Karma, is that it's more transparent with it or something, and you can just decide whether you want to get it or not. Yeah, I'm like got lower pitch voice. That's just how I naturally am, but I don't know. It's just something I have and I can't help it. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's just people were talking like about qualities I have that I have no control over, like trying to use that as a way to compliment somebody. So I used to find it a bit annoying because I feel like I'd rather be complimented on certain qualities that are more within my control, really. I've never used it, but I've had a couple of friends use it for Carvery or Greg's etc. Lol. Corner sounds Karma. I said Karma. Karma. Hello, Oti. How you doing? So Karma, it's called. But I don't know. I've never used it. But I don't know. I might have to look into it though. See if it's worth it. Yeah, Karma. I might actually see if I can download it now or something and just on my other phone. Karma. Karma, chameleon. Anyway, enough of that. So yeah, Karma, it's called. See if it's on this one. So, food waste. See if I can find it. Well, we've got Too Good to Go, but yeah, Karma Save Food with a Tap, it's called. 4.8 stars, but then it's got a review that says rubbish. There's literally no shops or restaurant in my area, so I guess it depends on each person. Everyone's going to have their own experiences with it. Some places they might just not have anything available. Hello, good night, Munchie. Hang on. When you were here the other day or something. I'm doing fine, thank you. Didn't you say you changed your name or something? Hello, I'm Groot. Okay. Anyway, hello, Carl. Okay. Anyway, hope you've had a great day, everybody. But yeah, everything. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Yeah. What's the one here? Munch, save tasty food. What's this? Get tasty food for a discounted price. Join 1 million others in fighting against food waste. And then, yeah, so that's another one apparently. I have to have a look at that one, see if it's worth it or not. But again, it's got 4.8 stars. Oh, really? Good night, Munchie. That's cool. Yeah. I don't have any Valentine, as far as I'm aware. So yeah. Not a surprise, really. Anyone else got any Valentine shit going on? Yeah. But Hello, Rusty. Yes. No, I don't support Trump. No. No, I'm not a Trump fan. Hello, Tiny Mike Taylor. How you doing tonight? So it's talking about being frugal and saving money and hacks to save money and things like that. Like there's always ways to save money, I would say, and just yeah. Yeah, anyway, is everybody okay? Hope you're all well tonight. Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. Just chilling at the moment. So where are you from again? What's this? Discounted foods. There's another one here. Read meal. I don't know if this one's any good, but yeah, there's quite a few of these apps, but some of them might not really have much on them. So anyway, rewards programs. Oh yeah, I've heard about Fetch. I don't know too much about it. Yeah, there's a few of them I've heard about, like, so what is it? Is it cashback or something? I've heard of like Top Cashback and Quidco and stuff like that, but I don't really buy stuff online much, so it probably wouldn't really benefit me that much. But it's the thing where you use their like extension or whatever, and then if it's a qualifying one, then you can get like cash back or something. I've actually got a thing on my phone that tracks usage and stuff, and every so often I get a free gift card. So you could just use that to buy food basically. So that's another one as well. I could send people the link because I could get some referrals for that, but basically, yeah. But basically, yeah, it's just there are ways to make some like kind of, oh yeah, I've heard of misplay, but it's not very passive. So yeah, cashback, gift cards, and instant payouts. Copper is better because you can casually play games. There used to be this thing called Playtime Rewards, and you could actually just leave it running passively, but they've been cracking down on that now, and it's not really possible. Like you can't really do it or something. It's not really. Let's just see. I've got one on my other phone now, and I have to see if I can actually. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here really, but I don't know what's going on with this thing. I don't know. Right. So I've granted it permission, but they started doing it more as like paid per task thing rather than paid per minute. They used to have it where you would get paid per minute, but they're paying per task now. Let's have a look. We have to complete certain levels, but I can't be asked with like playing through these games just to earn tiny bits of money. Coin play. Yeah, I don't know. Do I play rugby? No. No, I don't. Righteous. Yeah, I mean, they used to do it where I actually earned like a few quid in a day just doing that. But yeah, they used to have like paid per minute system, but unfortunately, a lot of them don't have that anymore. Yeah, because you could just run it on a phone farm basically. You could actually have a few phones running at the same time. and just have it like someone actually said that there was ways to do it, but yeah, they're trying to crack down on that stuff. Like there was actually a channel I watched where they would actually talk about hacks of like how to get through surveys and stuff without getting disqualified, but I'm not going to recommend that on here because it's going to probably get me taken off. You got to be careful because apparently he's been getting a bit of into some trouble on YouTube over some of the videos, so maybe that was why, because he was recommending things that are against the terms of service, so they're not necessarily gonna. What do you mean I look familiar? Who's this? You know, that if you start talking about things that are against terms of service, then they're gonna crack down on that, you know? Yeah, Just Play I've heard, but yeah. Just someone was saying that there was some hack that you can use, but like I said, you know, I'm not going to recommend all that because I don't want to end up getting in trouble over it, you know? Because you never know with these things, do you? You never know who could be watching and it could get reported or whatever. And it's very unlikely, but no, I'm not a veteran now. Got to say it's for educational purposes only. Oh yeah, but I'm talking about if you're doing something if you're recommending something that's against a company's terms of service, like for example, we were talking about Just Play or Misplay or whatever of these gaming ones, is that I can't tell you how to hack the system. I've seen videos on it, but I'm not going to tell you because it's against the... It's like, for example, if someone was to tell someone how to use a game emulator or how to get pirate copies of games or DVDs or whatever, well, that's, you know, obviously that's not legal, is it? You know, you have to be careful what you're talking about online, because if it's deemed as illegal or against the terms of service, then they could just have your account taken down or at least get a strike anyway. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, just got to be careful. You got to be careful to make sure you don't fuck up with some of these apps as well, and make sure you're not just trying to, you know, like for example, if you're trying to rush through a survey or something, that you could fuck up, and then, because some people would try and do that to get through it quickly, but hello little terabyte, oh you are you? Try and get through them quickly, but then if you fail, you know, like quality questions and stuff, then yeah, you can get your accounts banned for that. So if you just gotta answer it honestly and just not rush your way through it. You know what I mean? It's this whole thing of like patience and all that, but the rulers are not worth more than anybody else, so no, I don't go to the pub now. I know you might think I'm a bit weird for that or whatever, but yeah, I'm not into going to the pub or anything. I just like to stay kind of quiet and all that, really. Like I said on the previous video, I'm not into fitting in, really. I'm not bothered about fitting into society and societal norms and whatever. Just, yeah. Yeah, the only law is morals. Yeah, that's the thing, is that should be what law is about, based on morals. But there was this whole thing about the five steps of government or something, whatever they call 5 stages of government. So this is the thing, right? So you've got aristocracy, rule of the best. So about an ideal state ruled by philosopher kings who are wise, rational, and just, they seek truth rather than power or wealth. Democracy, ruled by honor. And then you've got oligarchy, rule of the few. Democracy, rule of the people. And then tyranny, rule of fear. But yeah, drinking at home, but it's again one of those things where, you know, if you want to save money, then you don't need to be going out and buying loads of alcohol and all that, and just, can you not just, you know, get a few people around to your house and just have a chill night in or something. But then I don't think that drinking and loads of alcohol is good anyway. The best liars win, yeah, that's true. The most charismatic liars, in my opinion. The ones who just kind of, you know, they seem very confident in what they're saying. That's the trick, is no matter how much bullshit you're talking about, if you're saying it with a certain charisma, then people believe anything. What are you on about? Your ROM is falling. The hell are you on about? You mean room? Your room is that what you're saying? The hell are you on about? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Hope you're all well tonight. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and share out the live if you can. A little more to James. So, yeah. So talking about this thing of not taking a risk, maybe the biggest risk of all. So the thing of, you know, the risk of stagnation, missed growth, the cost of inaction, calculated risk versus no risk. So basically, you know, if you're, you know, taking risks, it should be calculated. It should be well thought through. Oh really? Hello user MC, how you doing? Hope you're well tonight. Thank you all for joining me. Let's get 20 likes real quick. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Another one is, they say it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. It's another one as well. Yeah, I hope you all had a good day today, people. Share this out if you can. Yeah. Thank you for the 17 likes. But yeah, I like to just talk about, you know, hacks to, you know, get more money or save more money. Because a lot of people are just kind of stuck in this mindset of like, oh, everything's so expensive, and it's like, maybe just take a step back for a second and just to breathe and just kind of clear your mind of all preconceived ideas. Maybe just open your mind and think, okay, well, maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way to make life either cheaper or make more money. Maybe there's ways to get semi-passive income or something. If you've got any kind of skills or any sort of, you know, hobbies that you have, you might be able to make some money from that, you know? You never know until you try. Put your art out there, put it on Etsy or whatever. If you've got skills, put it on Fiverr or whatever, Upwork. For the end of the world, it will be the ones that can repurpose things that survive comfortably. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's all about being like makeshift and, you know, like improvisation and all that kind of thing, isn't it? Being able to sort of just make do with what you've got kind of thing. Being able to kind of be creative solutions and stuff. Then there's just another beginning. Yeah, that's what they say about civilization, that they reckon that civilizations collapsed many times before, like all these different empires that we've had, and then something births out of that. But I've heard people talking about that we're entering a new age, like this age of Aquarius. It's been going on for a while, but there's this transitional period between different ages. Some believe that we're going into like an age of awakening, and yeah, you can fly UFOs. I mean, there are people that are waking up to things. There's people seeing things more for what they are, rather than having that kind of veil on. You know, they've got that kind of. You know what I mean? They're more open to like ideas like that, how corrupt the government is and stuff like that. Because you could say it's because the internet's allowed a lot more information to get out, right? It's made people start to question the reality that they're in. So on the one hand, yeah, it's kind of fucked things up in some ways, but in some ways it's like, well, talking about the hermetic principle of cause and effect, and how if people get pushed so much into something like into technology or whatever, there's going to be some reaction to that. There's going to be an effect from that. Yeah, so it's going to cause the opposite to happen. This whole kind of thing of you know, kind of encourage everyone to become so into all this AI and stuff. Eventually, people will just be like sick of it, and they'll just want no more of it. And maybe that's when people will finally start to appreciate real life again. Hello, Kofi. What do you guys think? Is there some silver lining to all of this, that people are going to finally be like, you know what, I want to get out in real life. You know, I want to smell the trees and the different plants and the different, you know, I want to be able to experience all of that. Hello, Mac McLaren. AI is marketing. They cannot reply their human intelligence. Or what you mean you can't reply human intelligence? You mean replace? Really, I didn't know that. Well, up to now, they still need human inputs. So some might say that once we have quantum computers, that maybe that's when we will have the ones that can come up with their own ideas, but they're only as intelligent as the inputs from human up to now. So you could say that you still need humans to train the AI and stuff, but some are afraid that AI is going to be able to start to train itself and come up with its own ideas, and some reckon that's when we get to the singularity, where the AI might come up with ideas to destroy humanity. That's what they're saying, 2045. That's the prediction, isn't it? But I don't know, you get a lot of these doomsday predictions. I'm just a bit skeptical of all that, really. Yeah, there has to be a breaking point with everything, right? Cause and effect. It's, you know, if you, yeah. What's that? Okay. Let's just get rid of the nonsense out of here. God's sake. Right. AI can be helpful, but we have to know how to moderate it. It's still new to us, and overflowing the job market and creativity, eventually it will level out. Yeah, I think it's just, if it's like when we become starved of something, then people value it more, basically, is what I'm saying. It's like the dating market. Some reckon it'll eventually start to kind of go the other way again, hopefully. Because if people start getting so sick of all the superficial nonsense, all the dating apps, people getting rejected based on, because they're 1 inch shorter than their preference or something like that, or some other bullshit thing, people would rather just go out and actually meet people in person and see if they click with anybody. It's supposed to be there to make things convenient and help you to find somebody, but I think they found on average that people who meet through a dating app are far more likely to split up. So even if they do find somebody, even then they're probably more likely to split up with that person. So is it really worth risking that, you know? Aren't you better off, you know, sort of meeting someone in person? But a lot of people are afraid of the rejection. You know, they're afraid to, you know, put themselves out there. And it can be tough because, you know, it's, yeah, you know, you're having to make yourself vulnerable in that way. But it's that kind of, you know, sort of thing that builds character. The more that you do it, then the more fearless you become. Some say it's like a form of therapy. It's like exposure therapy, you know. It's but by putting yourself on a dating app, you don't have to like subject yourself to that. Then I have a fear of people, trust issues. I'll hang out for months around someone and get to know them first before I can even say hi. Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? Yeah, but I can understand that because, you know, it's like a lot of people are just not worth your trust. There's nothing wrong with having so-called trust issues. Like, people call it trust issues, but I think in a lot of cases it's better to be that. It's better to be cautious than to just be overly, you know, kind of just naive to things and be like just someone who thinks that everyone's just good and everyone's got your back and whatever, but in most cases they don't, and they don't give a fuck about you, you know? That's why I was saying that why would I even want to fight for this country when all I see is just a bunch of selfish people a lot of the time, you know? Everyone's just all out for themselves, you know? Why is that something I'd want to fight for? You could say the only people I'd be interested in fighting for would be like my family and the people closest to me. The rest of them can go fuck off, you know? I'm not fighting for my country. I would just be fighting for those who I care about, because that's all I'm interested in. Because I can't vouch for anybody else hardly, really. I mean, anyway, I might sound a bit harsh sometimes, but I just say things as I see them, you know. Some people don't like that about me, you know, or some people like that about me. It's just one of those things, isn't it? You know, it's like a filter, isn't it? You know, it kind of filters out the ones who don't like to hear harsh realities, you know. I mean, I have to also be honest with myself at times. You know, I'm at times not the best person as well, you know. I have my own faults, but I acknowledge that and I'm trying to work on things. You have to learn to kind of, you know, just kind of be in touch with yourself, and that if you're about to react to something, then just like think twice about it, you know. You need to get into the habit of thinking twice before you do anything. Just to think twice, is this a really good idea? Think about the consequences, you know. Is this really good to like say this to someone? How is it going to affect that person, and how is it going to affect you? We should be thinking about how it's going to affect that person first. Like, what is, you know what I mean? Is it going to upset them? Because yeah, it's not doing anybody any favors, is it really? If you do something bad, then you know what I mean. But yeah, but I can be quite cynical at times and just feel like, you know, it's just there's a lot of parasites in this society who you know what I mean. they're only out for themselves, really. And there's a lot of like disloyalty going on, whether that's relationships, whether that's friends betraying each other, you know what I mean? You know, I see a lot of times where people just sabotage a long-term relationship because maybe they had a rough patch or something or whatever, and then that gave that person an excuse to then, start talking to somebody else, and instead of trying to deal with their problems and maybe they should seek out therapy or whatever to help with that. I mean, going and trying to talk to someone else all it's doing is distracting you from dealing with your issues. People are afraid to like actually deal with their issues, and they would just try to find some kind of therapy in some kind of unhealthy outlet and end up hurting other people in the process. You know what I mean? It's just like some people just don't give a fuck about what kind of people they're hurting, and you know what I mean, that someone's going to get hurt in the process. Whether that's, the person that they're with finding out, or the other person that they were just kind of leading on. You know what I mean? People are just, a lot of people are just not very nice, and simple compliments can go a long way. Not necessarily flirting with the other person, but just to get the person to feel great about themselves. There are highly insecure folks these days. I choose to be nice. See, that's the thing. It's about lifting people's spirits up, And there's this whole, some people believe in karma. So it's like, if you do something nice, then maybe that energy will be, you'll get that energy back at some point. You know what I mean? Even if that person, they don't really kind of, like take it too well, whatever. Somebody will, you just have to kind of, but maybe in time that person who you gave that compliment to might reflect on that, even if they were a bit kind of dismissive of it at the time, that they might then reflect and be like, oh, that was actually nice of that person, I was just being a bit of a dick at the time. So I was watching this clip from Simpsons, and if you've seen that one where Ralph Wiggum, he doesn't get a Valentine's Day card from anybody. Like, he was giving them to everybody else, and then nobody gave him one. So then Lisa writes one out to him, and it says, I choose you, or something, and it's like, and then she was like, oh, you choose, and then she's like, Happy Valentine's Day, and then it's just, it's just like, I don't know, it's just really like fucked, isn't it? Yeah, but apparently that guy's got some kind of, whatever kind of handicap, if you will, and that's the thing, is that, if someone might have a bit, some social issues and things, and then, they can be left out in some cases, which is going to like put a knock-on effect on their self-esteem, which is probably just going to make them even more awkward, and just, it's like, people need to be like meant to feel good, but I also think that people shouldn't be delusional as well when people think that they're like a 10, for example, and they think that they're perfect and whatever. There's that whole extreme of it as well, but I think people need to have a balance of confidence and humility as well. There is that as well. A lot of guys because they think that they've got this trophy wife, but they're not better than anybody else, A lot of people should feel like they need to have somebody because somebody else has somebody. It's like, you know what I mean? There's this whole pressure on guys to get a woman because they feel like, oh, that's some kind of achievement. I mean, it is an achievement if you are happy, but you shouldn't be getting it just for the sake of feeling like you've got some trophy. You should be doing it for the right reasons. You should be doing it because, you've got a connection with somebody. Yeah, it's better to be humble than arrogant. Like, you can still be confident, but like in a humble way, where it's like, you know what you're capable of, but you also know that you are fallible as well and you can make mistakes. Because if you think that you'll never make mistakes, then you're never going to be able to own up to your mistakes. That's hubris at that point. It's, yeah. So talk about the ego. I've been thinking about the ego as this sort of like, I mean, I was saying that the ego is not necessarily bad. It's something that we all have to have just to get up out of bed and stuff like that. But I do feel like the ego might, I'm thinking, more deeply into like spirituality and stuff, that this whole perception of yourself, what if the idea of self is a kind of universal consciousness, is what, with the spiritual non-duality. So if that really is the case, then therefore this thing that that the ego is based on is like a fiction. Oh yeah, AI is really, I think you're the one that's jealous, probably projecting, aren't they? I mean, yeah, I think they're the ones actually jealous, you know what I mean? They keep coming into my chat negative and all that. They're probably the ones that are bitter and jealous because they're just not happy or whatever. And if they were truly happy in life, then, they would be, they would be showing that. They would be showing that they're vibing high. People vibing high are too busy just having a good time to like be spreading the hate and negativity and whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, but whatever, It's just that there was somebody that I was talking to earlier, was that, I might actually share out her channel actually, but she was getting some nasty comments and, yeah. But she was saying it didn't really affect her though, but it's just, some people can get really affected by that stuff though. You know what I mean? It's, some people can be quite, it depends. Everyone reacts differently to these things though, but some people, can take things to heart. But you have to really learn to be confident in yourself enough to where you realize that these are not serious. Earnest, man, that's one way to put it, I guess. It's just, earnest is like similar to like solemn, kind of another way of describing it, kind of like, I see it as like serious. I think that's the thing, is that people, I don't know, it's like, I can be like laughing stuff at the time, but I'm somebody that takes certain things seriously. I'm very passionate about things and I'm very serious when it comes to, like, can be quite strict with certain things and have very kind of certain principles in life. But there's a lot of people out there that they don't have any of that. They don't have that kind of, they don't really have much of a moral compass. They just kind of, all they see is just kind of, what can I do in this moment to be happy? And totally disregarding anything about the future. All they care about is the right now, the here and now. It's like snowing, but it's like a wet kind of snow, eh? Oh, it's like, there's like sledding, eh? It's like, so it's like a mixture between rain and snow, eh? But yeah, so like, so this word earnest, I'll have to just, check, make sure I've got the right definition, but yeah, that's from what I understand, that the word earnest, it's kind of Yeah, because I don't want to look like some kind of ignorant person or something, or you know what I mean. Earnest. Um, yeah, so it's sincere and intense conviction. So this is what I mean. It's like, so it's sincere and intense conviction. Someone who has like I said, somebody who has a very like much like devotion to certain beliefs and stuff. Someone who's very serious about things. Um, yeah, someone who has a purpose really is the thing. Having a sense of purpose in life, I think, is one of the most important things, and I believe a lack of purpose is probably one of the biggest causes of depression in modern times. A lot of people are disconnected from their purpose, I believe. Now, you could say at one time a lot of it was about the family unit. A lot of people don't even have families anymore, so they don't even have that kind of purpose. And a lot of the jobs now are all just bullshit jobs. I think they found that most jobs now are just bullshit. And even the jobs that do have some kind of value, they could probably be done in half the time that it takes to do them. Like, a lot of it wouldn't even justify having an 8-hour workday. They'll just give you a bunch of bullshit to do. Why not just kind of condense it down and just, you know what I mean? You would think that otherwise, I suppose they would have to like lay a bunch of people off so that they can, well, they have been starting to do that, but a lot of it's just giving them work to do just because it's like, for example, if you're in a school class and just doing a bunch of filler tasks because, oh, well, you know, it's not quite the end of class yet, so we'll just have you do a bunch of BS that you don't need to do, really. Like just some filler. Self-discipline is boss. Instant gratification can bite you in the ass. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the thing. You have to be. But yeah, it's all about devotion. It's all about being devoted to something. Taking something seriously. That doesn't mean that you have to be a very, you know what I mean, serious all the time. But there's a time and a place to laugh and joke or whatever. But there are certain things you have to take seriously. If you just see all of life as a joke, then that's going to be what gets, you know, kind of mirrored back to you. You're just going to get a bunch of people who are a joke come into your life. But if you take things seriously, then you'll attract other people on that wavelength of serious people who actually have values, shared values, and things like that. And you know, like attracts like, they say, isn't it? You know, whoever you are is mirrored back to you. Yeah, I'm still up. Yeah, it's got a bit cold tonight, hasn't it? But there was supposed to be some snow forecast. I think it was kind of sleeting a bit earlier, but I couldn't really tell. It kind of looked like there was, but it was, I don't know, but it was pretty cold out earlier when I was out, but I think it was just raining pretty much, but it felt like quite cold rain. Not very nice, a bit windy as well, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's just, you know, people can find that I'm just really a serious person and they say, why don't you smile? I mean, it depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm in a jokey mood and stuff, if you know me in real life, I can have a laugh and stuff, but then sometimes I'm in the mood just to be serious and you know, talk about things that I'm passionate about. Doesn't mean I'm going to be smiling and laughing all the time, and because when I'm in that serious mood, then I'm more just kind of, you know, thinking deeply about certain things, and like I don't have the energy to be like, you know, kind of be smiling and laughing all the time. I just try to focus on the, yeah, I mean, what I'm talking about. thinking to like articulate my thoughts and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that, really, is there? But I feel like people are probably projecting at times there because they're not the happiest. So it's like they see me and I'm just kind of neutral face. Then they're like, oh, why aren't you smiling? But some people actually, I remember someone was saying that a neutral face, people can find that quite unsettling. Like there's something unsettling about a neutral face because people are used to seeing people either smiling and happy or sad and miserable. But when they see someone neutral, they feel like there's something almost kind of, there's something, I don't know, kind of unsettling about that, like that person is, there's something mysterious about that can be unsettling for people. What do you mean, I know those fire alarms? What do you mean? What are you on about? I mean, as in the neutral face, as in like not happy or sad showing? You're not laughing or you're not crying or sad face or anything like that? You're just kind of not really showing much of an expression at all? So where you'd be just kind of expressing somewhere just in between kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, hope everyone's well tonight. Share this out if you can, yeah. But yeah, people could be, oh, why so serious? But it's like, people think that being serious is a weird thing, but it's like, all those people that invented all the great things that you have, you know, they couldn't afford to be all laughing and joking all the time and just, they would all be kind of spending a lot of their time just kind of figuring things out, figuring out solutions to problems, and that's what they do, you know. They're actually putting their mind to use to innovate. Got you, Jimmy. Oh yeah. Yeah, some people say that people's resting face can appear grumpy, like it can have a downturn to it. Some people just naturally have a downturn, but mine is just kind of neutral most of the time. When it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to goof off, it's time to, that is when the work is done. Exactly, you know, it's just, it's all about, there's a time and a place for everything, is what I'd say. You have to, it's all about, yeah, doing whatever that time calls for. But there's a balance, isn't there? Because they say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So this whole hustle culture is also toxic as well, because that can just burn you out, especially if it's a type of work that is soul destroying. Hello, Graham. Hope you well. So, you know, if it's this work that people are doing, it just ends up destroying their soul because it's very, very repetitive, or it's just not something that's really their true calling. But even if you're doing something that is your true calling, you might not want to do it all the time. You know, you might just want to have a break from it and do something else. We're not supposed to be doing the same things all the time. Some suggest that we should probably just do a mix of different things. Like maybe like, for example, certain seasons you do different things. Like maybe one season you could just help cut someone's grass or something, you know, to earn a bit of money or something like that. And then maybe do something else at other times and stuff. You know what I mean? I actually think that winter should be a time more for like hibernation, probably. I'm not saying you should hibernate and not do your exercises and stuff, but I mean, going out at winter can be a bit, you know what I mean, not the most fun thing really, but But I think winter is more of a time for reflection, really. Time to reflect on things, reflect on what you've done like last year, and when it gets to the new year, and you just well, we're out sort of like December, January, February kind of time, and you're just kind of reflecting on things, because and then in the summer it's like everything's hype, isn't it? Everything's all kind of, I mean, there's not as much time to really reflect on things. I would say at those times of the year, people are more out, just kind of just partying, whatever, just doing like certain activities, festivals, things like that. Little Frosty, what you on about? The hell? The fuck? The monotony of it all kills the dream. Yeah. People say I have a monotone voice though, but that's just how it is. Oh, you have a monotone voice. It's like, whatever. There's nothing I can really do about that. We all have our own quirks and things, But maybe some people interpret it as a lack of enthusiasm. It's just that I tend to more think about what I'm saying rather than how I'm saying it, kind of thing. More try to articulate rather than try, just let the words speak for themselves rather than having to kind of focus on how I'm saying it. Some might say that there's an importance in certain, like, expression, how you express what you're saying. With ADHD and a touch of the autism, I choose IT to get into it because of the job always changing and my attention span does suck. Just how my brain is, yeah. I didn't watch the video, but someone put this video about how maybe a lot of these calisthenics athletes and stuff and gymnasts and stuff, that they have possibly got autism because of this whole hyper focus on skills. It's a lot of, say, like magicians and different artists and stuff, and they have these certain focuses that a lot of artists and like musicians, they have these hyper focuses that are, a lot of these people are a bit quirky, they have a bit of a different way of thinking about things, and their mind works a little bit differently, and how they express themselves is different because they might use a certain art form to express themselves. And for some people, they reckon that's their way of trying to, try to be successful, I guess, because they never got that validation growing up. There was that whole theory that a lot of people would just try to use, their, creative skills, whatever, to try and to impress people, whatever, and be successful. Because growing up, they were falling behind and stuff. They were the odd ones. They weren't the popular kids. Hello, PK Entertainer. Hello, James. Thank you. If anyone's new here, hit that subscribe button. Hello, Andrea. Good to see you. I saw you went live earlier, but yeah, I missed it. I was just kind of chilling out, really. I wasn't really watching a lot of stuff at the time, but yeah. How was your live stream anyway? Hope it went well. Yeah, have you got any snow there? Someone was saying that they had wet snow in Canada at the moment, but I know you said you had some quite bad snow the other week or something. They're like people cross-country skiing, eh? Okay. Maybe you could, like, I don't know, share my lives up to some of you people. Some of the people that go to your lives, maybe they could come in here as well. So everyone check out Andrea's channel. She's got one, Andrea the Goose Mother, if you want to check out. She does like sometimes random lives doing some cooking, or maybe she'll have like a certain topic, like she did one on the topic of addiction and stuff, which I think is quite an interesting topic. Someone was actually debating somebody about opioid addiction earlier, because so there was always some people earlier, and it's like they were saying about opioid addiction, and this guy was saying that he thinks it's like that it's a hyped up thing that, but then the other guy responded and saying about how medical opioid, that the medical fentanyl is nothing like street fentanyl. They're two completely different things, was his counter argument. They were just like arguing back and forth about it all, and yeah. You got a bit of a blizzard earlier today. Oh god. Yeah. Oh, chocolate strawberries. Oh yeah, how did you do that? Did you make the chocolate yourself, or was it from like some melted chocolate bar or something? You know, some people would use those like baking chocolate bars and stuff, and you know, the cooking chocolate, I mean, like Dr. Oetker or something. I think I used to like just eat them, like dark chocolate bars. But they're meant for like cooking, really. But a lot of them don't actually have milk in them. The dark chocolate ones. Depends which ones you get, but some do, some don't. So everything is a psyop, or whatever. Then, you know, maybe you're a psyop then. You said everything's a psyop, then you're a psyop then. I made the white chocolate and then made part of the other chocolate by adding cocoa butter. Oh, really? Oh, you didn't have milk ingredients. So how did you make white chocolate without milk ingredients then? Was it just, well, yeah, I know in like white chocolate they use like cocoa butter, and it doesn't have the, what is it? It doesn't have the bitterness in the white chocolate. It's just it's just the cocoa butter, isn't it? Whereas milk chocolate's like a mixture between the two, isn't it? Like you've got dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. Yeah. Like white chocolate just tastes really sweet and just like, whereas milk chocolate's kind of got a little bit of that slight bitterness to it, but then not as bitter as say like dark chocolate, where dark chocolate's more like just kind of, it's just like a kind of, yeah. You got cocoa solids, which I had the Montezuma's pure black, 100% cocoa solids, absolutely awful. Well, it's not meant to be nice, because it's literally, that's literally what pure chocolate tastes like, you know? Not nice. Yeah. If you've ever had like the cocoa solids or the cocoa powder or whatever, it's just gonna taste like absolute ass. You know what I mean? Oh, coconut milk. Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't know you could use coconut milk. I suppose it makes sense, right? Are you on about the coconut cream? Like, as in, like, because I know there's different types of coconut milk. You can get the coconut milk, which is just like the kind of, like the more watery kind of thin stuff, like, I like more like milk, more like rice milk or oat milk or whatever, almond milk, yeah? Whereas you got the coconut cream, which is like the more fattier one, the one with like, yeah, but it can be quite high in saturated fat, but then some argue that it's not as bad as some sources of saturated fat, because they're not as like long chain. There's different types of saturated fat from what I remember. Some saturated fats are like really long chains, and they're, I've heard trans fats are actually the worst types of fat. Those are the ones you really want to be careful of. But yeah, saturated fat, I've heard, yeah, like in high quantities can be bad, but I've heard mixed things about coconut milk and coconut oil. Oh yeah, rice cakes. A lot of people don't like them, and they're kind of just apparently they're not very much calories. It's kind of just, don't they have quite a crispy kind of texture or something? I remember there was this clip, it was a cutaway gag from Family Guy when he eats rice cakes and is like throwing them up basically, and yeah, little Kingy, yeah, it's like coconut oil, coconut milk that tastes nice though, but yeah, it's got a slight kind of sweetness to it, but it's like a natural sweetness. But I don't know. Everyone's got their own tastes, haven't they? It can be good to put in like curries and stuff. I actually tried putting it in curry once, like do like a vegetable curry and just put a bunch of like coconut milk in it. Some use it as a way to kind of dull down the heat. So if they've got a lot of like spices in it and stuff, it just helps to kind of cool that down a bit. But yeah, it's just, some people like to just do it for like a creamier kind of texture as well, just kind of give it a different consistency. But yeah, magical. Oh yeah, coconut curry. Yeah. Okay, coconut taste. Oh no. Everyone's got their own preferences. I used to like eating Bounty chocolate bars, coconut chocolate bars, but yeah, they're not very good for you, are they? Anyway, but so until 1 a.m. yesterday, making 7 dozens of chocolate strawberries, 12 different designs of flavors. Oh yeah, someone was telling me about they were making peanut butter, like I think they were no bake peanut butter flapjack type of thing. And they put them in the freezer, so they just kind of like put all the ingredients in a pan, and then just kind of, I think they used, what was it? I think they said they used coconut milk or something like that. Did they use coconut milk? Oh no, it was just peanut butter. I don't think they would use coconut milk in that, but you could do, I guess. But I think the peanut butter would be enough to bind it together, potentially, depending on how much you use. But I've tried doing recipes with like kind of with that sort of thing. Peanut butter and cocoa, with maybe some like dates you could use, or you could use some kind of, maybe you could use some like brown sugar or something. But yeah, that works a treat. It's going to taste like Snickers, but like a healthier version of it. Yeah. I remember there was this like healthier version of Snickers where you take like some like a medjool date, and then you just stuff the hole with peanut butter, and then you put some like, then you would like coat the outside in like dark chocolate, and it's going to taste like Snickers. It'd be like having a fun size Snickers, but about the same size as the fun size Snickers. Yeah. I had to declare the item sent to Oregon. Why is that? They always send as gift. Oh yeah, well that's an idea, isn't it? But it's just, why do you have to declare? Is it to do with taxes? Do you mean something like that? They're all like tax bullshit, isn't it? You know. Hello Nihal. Hello Bobla. Hope you're all well. Oh yeah, blender. Sorry, binder. Yeah, fig. Yeah, figs. I tried doing something with persimmon before, but not sure I'm really into persimmon. I don't know. Some people love persimmon, but I tried it. But I don't know. I'm not really into it. Does anyone like persimmon? Some also call it Sharon fruit, but there was actually figs growing on a garden just up the road from where I live. I was actually picking them off and just eating them off the tree. But they didn't really taste that sweet to me, really. Like, it had kind of like a odd taste to it. I don't know. It was all right and all that. It's just not really what I would expect. I guess it might be because of where they're grown, but it almost had a certain kind of like scent to it. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It almost tasted like a flower or something. I don't know. Like, it didn't really taste sweet, sort of thing. Yeah, it's kind of. It was a little bit, but it was like there was a certain kind of aftertaste to it. It was, yeah. Hello, Elijah, UK. Persimmon's one of the best fruit, but they're different varieties. If you find the best, it's the sweetest, a mix of apple, peach texture. Yeah, it's kind of like a, yeah, you want to try and get the skin off because it's got like a very, yeah, the skin's a bit, I tried doing something with persimmon, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's like a kind of, I remember there was some like fruit growing near where I live, and I believe that there was some kind of like hybrid between apples and pears or something. Oh yeah, I tried quince before. I tried boiling it. It was awful. Yeah, I thought, oh, maybe if I just kind of like boil it or something, it'll taste like all right. It was fucking awful. I don't know. How the fuck do people eat quince? So, because they were growing in this like, there was this like edible garden, right? And there was quinces growing in there. But yeah, I'm not a fan. Has anyone ever had quince before? Yeah, someone's saying it's like part of the apple and pear family, but yeah, it doesn't taste anything like that anyway. Oh yeah, caramelized apples. Oh yeah. Making breakfast for supper. Oh really? Yeah, quince. You never had quince, yeah. But there's actually an edible garden in my city, and it's like got a bunch of different herbs, like different. Can't remember all the different names of them, but there's quite a few of them. Like they've got things such as different berries and different. Like, I think they've got things like mint and stuff like that, and yeah, lots of different herbs, like medicinal. Some are gonna have medicinal properties and stuff. So yeah, it's good that they've got things like that going on. But what did they have there? I think they had some. If I remember, they had strawberries. I think they had. Did they have strawberries? It might be strawberries or raspberries. I think it might have been strawberries. They had some kind of grape growing there, but they were really tiny. They were kind of sour, kind of like, yeah, more sour than some people might like. I don't mind if things are a bit sour, but yeah, some people really don't like that. Because they had some like types of cherries and plums growing wild around the city. And sometimes they can be a bit sour, but I remember someone tried one. Oh, it's sour, that. Yeah, echinacea, that's meant to be good for like colds and flus or something, supposedly. Oh yeah, bergamot. I think they had bergamot in, yeah, I think they grew some of that on that edible garden. So I might show you guys when it's, I'll have to, there won't be anything probably much to eat there at the moment with this time of year, but they had damsons growing in it, but the problem is when, slugs and things get to it. It'd be ideal if they had some like greenhouse or something where they can kind of shelter things. Obviously, if it was a greenhouse, it'd grow faster as well because of the greenhouse effect, you know. But yeah, I'll probably try and show you guys around there. But it's just, but yeah, I think they had some different like they had mint and. I don't know if they had, I'm trying to remember what they had. Different herbs. I can't remember if they had basil. I don't know if they had basil there. Probably not. I know they had some had different tastes and stuff, like some different like yeah. Trying to remember which one. I think they had like a like some taste quite peppery or yeah. Has anyone ever had wild garlic? So sometimes I would smell garlic when I go through like the woods or something, and that's supposed to be wild garlic, which is that's another like herb that's supposed to be good for you. But we have a community greenhouse here, mainly vegetables and herbs. So can you just like help yourself to it or something? So I remember, I think this was somewhere like in Georgia in America or something, where they had like a community orchard or something, where they were just growing a whole bunch of different fruit and veg there. So we just need more of these sort of things, like lots of different types of fruit and veg and stuff like that, really, because, you know what I mean? It'd just be a lot better than getting everything from the shops, especially with things like fruit, because it's so expensive at the shop. Like a punnet of blackberries will probably be like a couple of quid, if not more in a lot of cases. Like when, these things grow in nature, so you can just, but the thing is with the ones that grow in, like, say, some people are a bit bothered about contamination with like maggots and stuff, but you could always get them to grow in certain environments that are more controlled. But it's like I said, if they're gonna invest in fucking greenhouses and shit, you know what I mean, that would help, wouldn't it? Invest in stuff that's going to help with food poverty. Give back people access to some free food. Once you pay for it, then it's just like, you could argue that if people could like get more of their needs met from food and stuff, they actually started to grow more of it everywhere, then people would be less dependent on benefits and stuff, you got to argue, because they could get like some good quality food for free, and then then it's like they just have to pay a little bit for like whatever kind of staples that they need to buy or something, like potatoes and whatever that they're, It's like we should be looking at solutions like that and growing more food, community orchards, growing even things like potatoes and stuff. We should actually grow them, you know what I mean? Grow them publicly, and then have, say, things like modular homes and stuff that are going to be a lot cheaper. These things can be put up in no time. Like, why are we using outdated technology to build houses? A lot of it's just wasteful and just kind of resource intensive. My name is Donald Trump. No, I'm from Birmingham. Joseph. Oh, really? Oh, goodness. So, yes, just leave a tip in a tip jar as all they ask for, supplies and maintenance of the greenhouse. Yeah, that's fair. That's the thing, because, like, there's certain, like, things like, say, they have to pay for, like, rent and stuff like that, and yeah, because I was thinking maybe I could, like, start my own community fucking shit like that. I could just have other people, help me out with it, and then they get to just take whatever they want, but there's going to be more than enough for everybody. That's the thing. They just help out to run it all. You know what I mean? So you could have a bunch of like volunteers and stuff working on it and just helping with seed sowing and things like that, and whatever needs doing, watering plants. Yeah, it's just there's always like things that people could do. or as a way for people to give something back to society. It can give people a sense of purpose because they're helping with fighting food poverty. But there's things like food waste as well, like I was talking about earlier with, using food waste apps can be a good thing as well. Because that fights against food waste. Because the problem is that something like a third of food is wasted. And a lot of that's going to come from like companies throwing out food. And there's people who do dumpster diving, where they'll go and find free food that would otherwise have just gone to waste. And then you'll get these companies that'll be like complaining and say, oh, you can't be doing that. It's like, well, you shouldn't be wasting fucking food then, Like sometimes they'll intentionally get more food than they know that they're going to be able to sell because they need to have their stocks, high. Otherwise, I don't know what it is about it, but something about that they always overstock for some reason. But I remember there was some reason for it, but I can't remember. It was just kind of, it's supposed to make it look better or something like that if they've got, if they're overstocked rather than if they run out of stuff. But but it just ends up making things get wasted. They don't care if they end up, wasting on that, but as long as they look good with like stocked shelves and stuff. I've heard about that. I don't know how true it is though, but nothing surprises me at this point really. But yeah. But you just gotta take everything that you hear with a pinch of salt really, haven't you? Because a lot of BS out there as well. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors out there. It's like, for example, you get these rumors of, what is it? I'm trying to think of another example, but there's a lot of things like that happen. It's like there was this rumor going around about Joe Rogan passing away or something, Or like that rumor about people passing that thing on about that when you die, that your hair and nails keep on growing for years or whatever it was. It's like, it's not true, is it? But they say that they might appear to grow, but that's just because the skin recedes, revealing more of the base of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Joe Rogan, yeah. What do you believe? I mean, science is, what do you mean you don't believe in science? I mean, science is, if it's real science, then you don't need to believe in it. It's just fact. You know what I mean? But there's certain things that you could say are not real science. Because there was this guy called Rupert Sheldrake, and he made a book. What in this country it was called The Science Delusion, and then in America it was called Science Set Free. And he's challenging certain theories that saying that they've been based on assumptions and modern science. I mean, there is like certain things that we should all be able to agree on, like the shape of the Earth, for example, and there are certain basic things that we should be able to all agree on. We can make certain observations and see that. We can't just completely deny reality. That's where it's, in my opinion, going too far down the rabbit hole. Astrophysics. Oh yeah. Anyway, what's this? Well, I can see what you mean. Some of them do tend to have a big ego, especially some of the popular ones out there, like your Neil deGrasse Tysons and your Sam Harris's and all these people that can be quite big-headed and stuff. But But yeah, science is a very complex thing, so there's all sorts of different theories out there, and we are not able to really comprehend it all. So, what do you mean sages? But anyway, it's just yeah. But I've been having a thought about how if consciousness creates reality, then therefore the consciousness must have been around at the Big Bang. If the Big Bang happened, then yeah. Hello, Reese. Oh, thank you. Did consciousness create the Big Bang? Or did it come simultaneously with the Big Bang? This whole thing of the idea of an observer-dependent reality, like the double-slit experiment, for example, depending on how it's observed, that the light passes through either. Oh, Eunice, I'm all right, thank you. How are you doing? So there's certain things that like we can ponder, like on when people say stuff like, if a tree falls over and no one's around to hear it, does it still make a sound? So it's this idea of like the qualia, basically the subjective experience of consciousness, and how why is it that like matter actually has that in the first place, but then I would argue that it can't be any other way. Like you can't have consciousness without matter, is what I was talking about the other day. That's how I'm kind of perceiving it, as like, so you can't have matter without someone there to observe it, because it would have no meaning or anything without it. So that's where I'm thinking, wow, there is certain things that in science that a lot of them don't really do a very good job to really explain things, especially a lot of these popular ones out there. I mean, there's a thing called the hard problem of consciousness. So if you're an actual, real, honest scientist, you will admit that there is a hard problem of consciousness that science is yet to figure out, is how or if a like non-conscious matter can become self-aware, like just by kind of random chance or whatever, some random things happen and then evolution and then pop some, it's just there was like Robert Lanza's biocentrism theory, and how consciousness creates reality, basically, that is into quantum mechanics and stuff, and that kind of like gives some like insight into this idea that, like I said, consciousness creates reality, and not that the universe creates consciousness necessarily, because again, that presumes that the universe existed before consciousness. But I'm here to say that what if there was no universe before consciousness? I'm not saying that God created it all, or the God of the Bible. Hello, MB. The God of the Bible. I'm saying that maybe consciousness is God. Sentience itself is God, possibly. What's that? Sulfur-bearing molecules in cosmic clouds, amino acids on the, what's that? Bennu asteroid, and organic signatures on distant exoplanets. No, what's that about? And what does that imply? I've heard people talking about some supposed God's fingerprint in the universe, but I'd just be quite skeptical of these things, and I find that it's like how people can see faces in clouds, and like if you want to see something, then you'll find certain like patterns and things like that. You'll see you'll see some kind of confirmation. I can't remember the word. There's some word for it where people see faces in clouds, or if they're thinking about pink cars, then they'll just see pink cars everywhere. Life is spreading throughout the universe, even though it's small, or what do you mean? What are you trying to say? In about like aliens and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, anyway, hello, Doughboy. I mean, if you've got like better theories than, you know, like Bruce White, I mean, instead of making like kind of snarky comments and stuff, let's hear your philosophy on life. You know what I mean? Probably be getting going in a minute. Alien to us, yes. They're under current conditions to become something similar to us and how we were created. Oh, really? So what is your thoughts on like sentience and consciousness and all that, and how that come to be? Because I've been having thoughts on like, what if there is no other consciousness in the universe, and what if there's this unified consciousness? I don't know. We can't prove or disprove that. I can't prove that anybody else has their own consciousness. That might sound quite controversial, whatever, but you know what I mean? It's yeah, it's a bit of a trippy one, really. Yeah, we'll be getting off in a minute. I'm getting a bit tired, guys, but yeah. They say that we'd be alien to aliens. It's all perspective, isn't it? I agree with you. Consciousness has to have matter to come with it, otherwise it would not be able to live with it. Yeah, I see it as like a kind of, what is it? As in like, you can't have one without the other. You can't have consciousness without matter, and you can't have matter without consciousness. That might be a bit of a trippy thought, but it's like, what I mean by that is in that if consciousness doesn't exist, then what is matter then? It's like the color, we're all able to see the color red, but without the observer, then there is no color red. You know what I mean? Like there's no color to observe it without the observer. It's just a bunch of waves or something. Like it'll look chaos. It'll be like chaos basically, and there would be nothing that's really like anything like what we have. It's just the whole thing of, you know, the observer collapses the wave function, but also there needs to be a like matter for consciousness to mean anything, because without matter, then, well, for one, you need your body to host the consciousness. So even if we could say we have a soul, but I do believe that we need a body in order to host it, in order to be able to be able to process information and to be able to move and things like that. But basically, like if there was no matter, then they wouldn't be able to have any kind of thoughts, because what is there to think about? It would all just be a void. You know what I mean? So it's like in nature, I feel like the consciousness and the universe is like a kind of like what's the word, inextricably linked. They're like kind of intrinsic properties of the universe that we can't have a universe without it. An energy to give the whole system the capacity to operate. Yeah. But so if we didn't exist, or any race or any animal exist, then what is reality then? Because the thing is that this is what I mean. Some scientists will not acknowledge this kind of stuff. They don't want to acknowledge it, or they'll just gloss over it and kind of just act as though they've addressed it, but they haven't really. Like, I do believe that there's certain things that science cannot explain. They want to be able to try and explain everything through science, but there are certain things that are too subjective to really have a mechanistic explanation for in a scientific sense. And there's the thing where some people have faith, and maybe it's just that some people, you could say maybe people kind of knew before all the distractions, so people kind of figured that there was something more to life. I don't know, but then they got sucked down the whole religion rabbit hole. It's like they got sucked down the whole religion rabbit hole because you could say, well, some of it could be like down to the idea of like you're making death easier to kind of cope with, but it's like, I guess you could say that like, did some of them maybe believe in an afterlife, but then they just kind of, well, they were told that they would go to heaven, so that gives them some kind of hope. Because then what if you just ended up having to relive all the negative shit again? That wouldn't be a good thought, really, would it? Yeah, black holes and white holes. Oh yeah. Hello, Nemo. How you doing? We found you. We found Nemo. But yeah, there's certain things that are just like very, what's the word? Just, I mean, it's just science is going to be struggling to figure these things out because unless you can really observe it fully, then all we can do is just speculate based on mathematical probabilities and stuff like that. But is that really the most accurate thing? So yeah. Hmm. Yeah. We would never actually truly know what happens in black and white holes. Pressure and conditions are too deadly, so we must speculate. Yeah, that's the thing, is that there are certain things that require faith, even in like science. This is where it then becomes kind of like a religion when you start extrapolating and coming up with theories like on theoretical science, theoretical physics, and all that sort of stuff. It's just like God of the gaps kind of stuff where you just kind of throw in some kind of, like when they talk about things like dark matter, dark energy, these are still not necessarily 100% proven. They're just kind of like placeholders, you could say. They don't fully understand certain things, so they just call it dark matter. And but there was this thing that Terence McKenna said, something like, give me one free miracle and we'll explain the rest. So what I mean is in that they have a certain thing like that's not explained, that they can't explain the phenomenon, but then they'll explain other things. You know what I mean? It's like, For example, they'll say, oh, dark matter or whatever. They'll explain how dark matter forms or something like that, but then they'll be like, but can you show us proof or something? I mean, there's certain things that are like, they're trying to colonize Mars. Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's just consciousness can only be speculated, and it's like, but if you're a real scientist, then you would be, I think, honest to say like, we just don't know. We can only speculate because we haven't got there yet. I think a lot of the like more underground kind of scientists are probably going to be a bit more humble and honest about things and just kind of go wherever the evidence takes them. Whereas it seems like some of them have got a certain ego about them that they're just kind of like, they want to think they're right all the time. And some of them want to think that they can explain everything with science. So if you start getting into anything that's somewhat kind of in the realms of metaphysics, something that they can't explain mechanistically with science, then they're not going to like that, because they like to feel like reality is something that they can explain with physics. They don't like to go into that kind of, oh, it's that can't be real because that's just some kind of metaphysical nonsense. Yeah. To physically see consciousness is impossible. It's just an idea or thought. Yeah. I mean, there's supposed to be some evidence of like certain phenomenon, like almost like spooky action at a distance sort of stuff, but then scientists will say that that's bullshit or something. But apparently there was this thing where, a phenomenon where, let's say, some people learn like a new, hello Vic, oh really? Let's say some people start learning a new language, and then what happens is, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but other people in other parts of the world or other parts of the country, start to learn that language much faster. It could be any kind of skill, but is there some kind of, well, this is the thing called morphic resonance theory, but or hypothesis. Some might say technically it's a hypothesis. Because theory, like when they talk about a scientific theory, it's actually not just like a hypothesis. It's like something with a lot of evidence. Because people get a bit confused when they're talking theories, really. There was this thing called the 100th monkey effect, but could that be explained by the morphic resonance, if there's actually any truth to it? But people were extrapolating, saying that the other islands and far away, that the monkeys actually learned those behaviors. But yeah, 4 languages is good, yeah. But basically, the monkey effect is a claimed phenomenon where a new behavior or idea rapidly spreads through a population once a critical mass, the 100th individual, adopts it. So, like, yeah, basically, something about, in the 1950s, researchers observed Japanese macaques, specifically a young female named Aimo, washing sweet potatoes to remove sand. And then there was like claims and stuff like that, and but some are saying about nature having a memory. Well, there was this thing on like crystals or something, about crystals having memory or something, and how when they form that they, yeah. So let's see what it says about. It says here about crystal often used to enhance memory focusing. So about let's see, what was it? Some believe that they hold memory or something. something like that. I mean, I just remember it's just that some certain things could be seen as kind of imprinting, something like that. Yeah. It says here, crystals are capable of storing data, serving both as highly durable advanced data storage technology and as tools in metaphysical practices for memory enhancement. University of Southampton research has developed 5D memory crystals that can store 360 terabytes of data for billions of years using laser-etched nanostructures in quartz. In holistic practices, stones like clear quartz and sodalite are used to boost mental focus, clarity, and recall. Capacity and durability. These crystals can hold immense amounts of data, up to 360. So I've just read that one out. That is crazy, isn't it? That is a lot of storage if that is true. So yeah, just I mean, is this something that they just don't want like people to get out there or something? Because if this is actually true, then this could like totally revolutionize everything. I mean, and it's like it could end up being produced at a much cheaper price or something. Yeah, exactly. That would be like absolutely just. But if it can be produced at such a cheap price, then that's not good for business, really, is it? But some are saying it could help memory. But there's a thing about the structure memory or something of the crystal, something like that, if I remember. Yeah, I know, like there's like ancient tech and stuff, and there's a lot of things that have been around for a lot longer than they make out. But yeah, so this thing about certain molecular crystals, e.g., terephthalic acid, undergo reversible mechanically induced phase transitions. These crystals can bend without breaking and return to their original shape when heated. DNA programmed colloidal crystals. These materials use DNA to reconnect nanoparticles, allowing them to crumble when dehydrated and instantly snap back to their original 3D structure upon adding water. 5D memory. So like, it's just the point I'm making is this, you know, it's about like morphic resonance or something. This whole idea of certain kind of like, you know, like think about memory could be like passed on and kind of this was a thing of, I don't know how true this is, but the theory on evolution about how it's not just about random chance mutations, but also based on previous learned behaviors and different gene expressions from like that get passed on and yeah, they do have new fighter jets because of alien tech. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's you're believing all the alien stuff, so. Hello, Felix. Yeah, 30 years is, yeah. It's like a lot of the military have got like really advanced tech and stuff. So, yeah, so morphic resonance proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake suggests that all self-organizing systems, including crystals, inherit a collective memory through non-material morphic fields, this theory posits that new crystal structures become easier to form over time because they resonate with past identical structures rather than being governed solely by fixed physical laws. So yeah, this was his theory about like non-local memory and stuff like that, and it's just one that's a bit fringe, but this idea of it's kind of like the spooky action at a distance kind of stuff. I don't know if you believe in that stuff, Tiny, but it's interesting. There's this whole theory on like how that, like I said, when a certain behavior is that, kind of maybe it's something as, or maybe a crystal's formed here, then that could then cause it to be easier to form non-locally or something. Like a paperclip drops in hot water. What do you mean? A paperclip drops in hot water. I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost here, but basically the morphic resonance theory is suggesting that physical laws might not actually be constants and rather something that can change over time due to morphic fields. So this is kind of taking a sort of like this idea of this morphic resonance as in like this some people believe that like things like the law of gravity or anything that could be subject to change in different conditions, and then certain physical things like with, say, I was saying with things like crystals, that structures might be easier to form as learned behaviors or something. If you bend a paperclip out straight and then you drop it in hot water, it will bend back to its original position. So why is that then? Is it something to do with the water? Is it because it's interacting with the water or something? Or everything is vibration? Oh yeah. That's what it was talking about with fields. Think of it as like energy fields. Like there's something going on like that we can't see. Like, so there was this thing like called telephone telepathy. I don't know how true this is, but apparently when they were given 4 choices of who was about to call them, so it was all done randomly, and the chance rate would be 25%, but it was over 40% got it right. So it suggested that there might be something to it, unless you believe it was just all coincidence or something. But I don't know. I don't know whether the test was done legitimately or whatever. But apparently they found more, up to 60% in people that they knew. So they had more of a connection or something. They're all entangled by a special glue. That's what they're saying. In the quantum level, we're all connected. So it makes you wonder if like this could explain this like morphic fields or something. And yeah, was that fascia of life? Yeah. I'm gonna have to look at the science delusion book. The science, it's called Science Set Free in America, but yeah, it's just I'm not sure I believe everything that it says. But hello, Stargazer, how are you doing? I hope you're well. Yeah. Let's talk about the whole morphic resonance stuff and basically like one thing happening in the universe and then kind of something else happening elsewhere. And yeah, but this could tie into the whole manifestation theory stuff that you were talking about, and how this idea of a ripple effect, that if you have a certain action, that then causes the universe to react to that. If we put out a certain vibration in the ether or whatever, then there could be some ripple going on, and that causing the external reality to react and kind of feed back to you that thing. Karma is the universal law of cause and effect. You reap what you sow, you get what you earn. You are what you eat. If you give love and you get love, revenge returns itself upon the avenger. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing of yeah, the one of the hermetic principles, cause and effect. Every effect has its cause, every cause has its effect. It's only while we're alive. Oh yeah. From dust to dust. Oh yeah. From ashes to ashes, from dust to dust, isn't it? Isn't that how it goes? Um yeah, yeah. Let's say that we are stardust or something. Is that the law of identical harvest? Neville Goddard lecture. So yeah, there's a morphic resonance theory. The saying that the laws of nature are not fixed and how they can change depending on the environment. Like they say, like for example, with how crystals, the structure, and how this idea of non-locality that I was talking about, the if I go back to it, this what they call non-local memory. The theory suggests that the memory of a crystal structure is not stored within the material itself, but in a non-local field that exists across time and space, allowing new crystals to tune into the structure of previous ones. So this implies that there's some kind of telepathic kind of connection between like different structures and things, auras. I mean, that's kind of like where I'm going. Yeah. Experimental evidence studies sometimes indicate that the melting points of certain crystals increase over time as their structure becomes more habitual and stable. So what it's saying is in like, does that mean that they become like adapted to become like more structurally, have better structural integrity? Is that the word? What is that? Maybe electricity that's residual, possibly. Yeah, Neville Goddard, yeah. I actually talked a bit about how, you know, in the last video about like kind of just the whole thing of like not fitting in and how you just kind of, yeah. Because most people aren't going to believe in this kind of stuff. They just think it's all some kind of woo-woo kind of crap, you know? They think it's all just, there is charlatans, like I said. Like there was this book called The Secret, and someone was saying how they read The Secret and then they only stuck at it for a couple of weeks because it didn't give them any sort of, you know, it just kind of, they had a bit of motivation and then it just dwindled. Because the whole thing is that, I guess it's just because you have to let go of the 3D reality that you're in with all that. It's like, ignore the 3D reality, just kind of focus on the end state. So what you're saying, is it more like law of attraction stuff? Because the law of attraction, you could say, isn't deep enough because it implies that something's out there, whereas law of assumption is you assume it to already exist because there is an infinite number of different realities going on simultaneously. It's like different universes. There's all many worlds interpretation where all you have to do is just tune into the right frequency and then you just kind of, yeah, so you become the person that, like I said, if you want to get rich, then you start to act like that. You start to, some call it LARPing, fake it till you make it. But you have to be careful of that because some people will take that literally and be like, oh, I'm just going to start ripping people off and just pretend I've got millions. But I'm not talking about doing it like that. I mean, as in just how you go about your life and how the energy that you put out there, you're putting that into the ether. And then you will get kind of that feedback of, anyway. yeah, I'm gonna be getting off, but Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. Yeah, we're talking about like how not just about visualizing, but also um, having all the feels of it, all of the even certain kind of tastes and smells and things, and really kind of fully immersing yourself in that experience is what we're saying about. Yeah, it's all about kind of because when you're visualizing something, then you're only getting a one sense of it. But yeah, if you want something, then you have to kind of put yourself in exactly how it would be. So yeah. But yeah, I've got Valentine's Day tomorrow. It's technically today here, but yeah. So this is just an opportunity to remember that you are the source of whatever it is that you want. If you want love, then um, you have to give yourself unconditional love. Because if you don't love yourself, how do you expect it to come externally? You have to feel it within. It's just that if you don't love yourself, then you might get people who pity you, but they don't truly love you. They don't like. They might be like, oh, I feel sorry. It's like that time with with Ralph Wiggum on. I've just mentioned that before about Ralph Wiggum on Simpsons when he was crying because he didn't get any cards, and then what happened is Lisa Simpson actually went and gave him a card because she felt bad for him or something. That's not good, is it? I mean, so a lot of it comes down to like your perception of yourself, then, and not being some kind of victim and not, you know what I mean? Yeah, persistence and faith in the state of the wish fulfilled. Yeah. Um, yeah, product of your actions. Yeah, that's true. But you're also what you believe you can be as well. And because somebody could do certain actions, but if they don't fully believe in it, then there could be something holding them back. It's like when you've got the person who persists and they become a winner of, like, say, a certain thing, like it might be a sport. I mean, at a certain point, there's not much that really kind of separates them in terms of like genetics and things like that. But for some people, it's their willingness to just go above and beyond to get what they want. Their willingness to just be like, I'm going to do this. It's like, for example, when Eddie Hall, this was kind of dangerous though, but because it was what he was doing, but he was so determined to get the 500 kg that he actually went to some kind of, I think it was some kind of psychologist to try and get him into the mindset of somebody who is going to achieve it, and they would kind of meditate on it and kind of his perception of somebody there who was like kind of like the enemy, like the referee was kind of like almost like his arch nemesis kind of thing, which is yeah kind of a bit fucked, but I have done it, I am doing it, and I will continue to do it until that which I have done perfectly externalize in my world. Abdullah to Neville. All right. Okay, American. Yeah, take care, good night, won't you? Yeah. But yeah, like yeah, your subconscious beliefs are a big part of um what makes you who you are. Like you can try to do something, you can, you know, put certain actions and do certain actions, but then if your mind isn't believing in it, then all that effort's just going to go to waste probably. Anyway, I'm getting tired, guys. I'll be back on tomorrow. See you later.